Wow, what a beautiful lake, what a beautiful morning, and such a beautiful bike. Now, Honda has done it again with the sticker job. Some might say that, some might even say that this is a brand new motorcycle. Well, this motorcycle is based out of the CB350 H'ness, and this motorcycle has a name in it. It is the CB350 RS. So, does it justify the 10,000 rupee price hike? In today's video, we are going to find out just that. But before we begin, subscribe to MotorBeam and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Now this motorcycle does not have much changes, but to justify the 10,000 rupees price hike, the changes are quite a few and they are very detailed. You can see that you get fog gaiters to cover the fog, which is pretty nice. The indicators have been changed from round to these thinner ones. I have seen these indicators. These indicators are very similar to the ones that we have seen on the CB300R. Pretty nice. The front headlight is still the same, although the headlight unit has become slightly bigger and you get these covers as well. If you look at the tire pattern has changed too, and the metal mudguard has been taken away while you get a plastic front mudguard. Coming to the middle section, well, you can see that the dual tone finish of the tank has got a newer color, and this does look sporty just because of the black finish. Looking at the seat too, the pattern has been revised pretty nicely, and right below it, this panel has been updated as well, which is finished in plastic, and a logo of the CB350 RS has come into picture. If you look at the rear, the changes is the maximum over here, since the rear has been upgraded. I say it upgraded because it looks much more sportier and justifies the RS bike just because of its design. This tail, LED tail light and LED indicators, this combination looks pretty nice, looks very similar again to the CB300, while the rear has been enhanced even more because of this chunky rear tire. This is by far the largest tire we have seen in this category of motorcycle, a 150/70/17. That's a chunky one. It's thick. Well, that's there. You can see the major change is that the chrome that was there on this motorcycle has been taken to the maximum, and you've got blacked out panels all over, plus a complete black exhaust, while to finish that with chrome covers over there and a chrome logo with a chrome tank cover, and that's about it. So for the styling department, yes, the price hike is slightly bit justified. Let's get on to the ergonomics. To justify the price for the ergonomics too, Honda has justified the badge here as well. Because of the RS badge coming into picture, things have become slightly sportier. This motorcycle has a handlebar which is 4 centimeters away from you, and this foot peg has become now center set. So it has come 11 centimeters behind, and you can notice with a close-up shot that earlier the foot peg for the H'ness was right below the engine cover, which is this one. Right now it is a little bit behind. Now these changes are not as much if you are a naive rider, but if you are an expert, I'm not calling myself an expert, but I am somewhat, you can find those differences and you can feel the difference coming into picture very easily, because you're not sitting completely upright now, you are slightly leaned in, and that makes a lot of difference. Things have even changed for the seat comfort as well, because the cushioning now has become much better. This rib pattern does come into picture pretty nicely, and it supports your bum very nicely as well. So if you're a thick rider or a thin rider, this seat will be comfortable all the time. For the pillion, not much has changed. However, the grab rail has changed, which has gone below the seat. So if you wanted a small back support which was present on the H'ness, well, now you haven't got one. There are no changes to the mirror either. These are round shape mirrors, although I don't like this shape because you can't really see what's behind properly, but still they do the job well. And because this motorcycle does not vibrate as much, the mirrors don't become a pain in the ass. Now for this seat, things have changed a little bit because you don't have to open it with an Allen key, although the fitment is not the perfect, because this, you can hear that it still moves. However, that is not justified for the price. And second thing is that this motorcycle does not get that Bluetooth connectivity that was present. So left side switch gear is very basic, although you still get that 12 volt Type C to Type C fast charger, which I liked a lot. And Zubair is here to help me out with that. Acha, I'm sorry. This one does not get that either. Sorry, Zubair. So the meter has become, so the meter has become very basic. You get a set of information from the center, but the accessories that were there, that was a charger and the Bluetooth, that have been taken away. Yeah, I guess the perspective which Honda says that this motorcycle is for the city, well, that is what is coming into picture now. Now if I talk about the performance, there's one thing that definitely justifies the price, and that is the exhaust note. I'll turn this motorcycle on and to tell you guys, the exhaust note has not changed. This motorcycle still has a throaty note, and this one sounds pretty nice. And that is still the stock exhaust. Nice. The performance of this motorcycle has not been updated as much because this one still gets the same 350cc motor which produces 20.7 bhp of power and 30 Nm of torque. The problem is that this motorcycle still has that punch, but the punch has gone missing because of the chunky rear tire, and the throttle response that you used to get for the low end and the mid range, well, they have gotten a little bit, what I can say, numb, because the response is not as immediate as I would have expected it to be. The H'ness used to lift the wheel without any problem, but this one takes a little bit of effort, although you do have to turn off the traction control for that, which is the HSTC which is present. Thankfully, the performance is not as adequate, so price hike does not justify there. The cooling system has not been upgraded either, so this one still gets an air cooling. You can see these fins over here, but this motor gets quite a lot hot in stop-go riding conditions, and yes, it becomes a bit difficult at times. There are no changes to the gearing, still gets a 5-speed gearbox, no changes to the final drive, so the same sprocket set is being used here, and the slipper clutch still works pretty well. This motorcycle still has the lightest clutch in this segment. You can see I can use it with my small finger too. You again still get a 15-liter fuel tank, and this motorcycle has been returning me somewhere close to 30 to 32 kilometers per liter, which is pretty decent. So if you do a full tank, you can get a good range of more than 400 kilometers. And if you look below the tank, there's one more thing to disappoint, that this one does not get dual horn, it gets a single horn, like the standard variant of the H'ness, which is the deluxe variant. Loud, but a single one. So the dynamics department has not changed at all, because you get the same half duplex cradle frame, you get the same suspension setup both at the front and the rear, not even the spring load has been changed. However, the main culprit here for the dynamics department is this rear tire. Although you get stupendous amount of grip levels because the pattern type tire for the front as well as the rear provide amazing grip, but this tire is just too thick, too chunky and too heavy, because it has affected the performance quite a lot, and same is the case for the dynamics too, because this motorcycle does not flick as easily as it used to, although the grip levels are pretty nice. So if you flick into a particular corner, the stability is pretty nice. It is not as nimble, but it is very agile now. So the nimbleness of this motorcycle has been taken away. I would have still preferred if you would have got a 140 section tire, which was quite enough for this motorcycle. This is a bit too much. You get the same set of 7:14 alloys both at the front and the rear. The front tire is exactly the same, it is the same 19-incher. The rear is a 17-incher. You could have gotten different options for the 18-incher too, and things would have been better there, but to maintain the wheelbase and all of that, they have got a chunky rear. That is a bit of a problem, and same is the case for braking too, because the brakes have remained the same as before. The braking feedback is just the same. It is sharp, not as feedback rich as you would expect it to be, but it is decent enough and it will get you to a stop without having any problems. But the rear tire feedback could have been improved with a lighter tire option too. Because of the changes in the ergonomics, things have become slightly sportier and they are still engaging. Although I've been complaining about the rear tire, the handlebar and the foot peg feedback have been pretty nice. So if you lock your knees and tip into a corner, this motorcycle still feels quite sporty. These pattern type tires do help you a bit more in off-road riding conditions, but we are not going off-road as such because this is not a scrambler motorcycle. This is just an RS version of the 350. So yes, that is another disappointment. Now there are quite a few things that people might miss, and that is that this motorcycle now gets a bash plate too, which is just this much, and that does not cover the exhaust either. So the bash plate is only there to save your engine and the chassis. If you encounter any bad roads, your exhaust will definitely take a hit. Another disappointment. The ground clearance, although, is not a bit of an issue to talk about because it takes on bad roads and bigger bumps without scraping its belly. So yes, that is pretty nice again. Before I begin the verdict, I want to say sorry to you guys, those who are from Pune specifically, who had commented on the video. I did not know about this because I said you can buy this motorcycle, the CB350 or the H'ness, the RS or the H'ness, from the Honda Big Wing showrooms only, and you'll be getting one in Mumbai or Pune. Pune does not have that. I'm really sorry about that, but Honda has been saying that they'll get one showroom pretty soon too. That said, this motorcycle is the costliest at 2,40,000 rupees on road Mumbai. The cheaper version to it comes at a price of 2,35,000 to 36, and that is the red color with pinch tips. Another cheaper version to it, that is the H'ness, that is the Deluxe Pro variant, and a cheaper version to it is the H'ness with the Deluxe variant, which takes off a few bits too. This motorcycle, if you would have still got the Bluetooth connectivity as well as the USB charger, it would have made complete sense. Then I would have suggested only this motorcycle all the time, because there are things like the performance has dropped a little because of the rear tire, but grip levels have increased, ride dynamics have changed. But this motorcycle is a proper sportier version that we wanted from the first. This one does look like the standard version of the CB350 because of the things taken away, but to be honest, this color scheme does stand out. And for that and only that, I will suggest that if you want to get yourself such a motorcycle, the CB350 RS does make a lot of sense. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.